Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with another Festival Legends card reveal. Be our last one for the day. There'll be more tomorrow, but we're going over some Druid and Paladin cards. Are they gonna break the game? Did they reprint Guff? No, but we'll talk about the cards as well. So if you want to win these cards, we have a giveaway going on. 2 regular pre-orders, 3-month mega bundles out of my pocket. All you have to do is like and comment on this video, the one I'm looking at, the one I dislike because it's terrible. Be subscribed to the channel. It's in the description below. Every 1,000 subs until all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle to give away. We're nearing the halfway point of the next 1,000 already. So hit that sub button, make me go broke, and let's start off with the Druid cards, which are filled with power creep. You wouldn't believe it, but like legit pretty crazy power creep. Now let's start with the first one. Drum Circle. It is a 7 mana nature spell. So, and you get to choose one, either summon 5 2/2 treants. So that's 7 mana, 10/10 in stats, and treant druid enthusiasts and wild will be happy to have more treants. I believe there was a twin spell that did the same thing for 8 mana. But you could cast it twice, right? So there's some value in it. But that's not even where I'm talking about the power creep. The power creep is on, or give your minions 2+2/+4 and taunt. That's the other option, which is a lot of stats. There used to be a card in the, like, they believe they added it to Classic later after they took out some other cards. Like after they took out like Naturalize or something. I think it's Gift of Nature. It's an 8 mana spell, nature spell. Give your minions +2/+2 and taunt. It was, don't get me wrong, it was a terrible card. The only time I can ever remember anyone playing it was with Kael'thas because it costs 0, right? Like it costs 0 with it. But is this card good? It power creeps on an old card, the unplayable old card, and you get some board presence. It's all right. I mean, the other twin spell treant cards saw play, but the support needs to be there, right? Like you need either treant support or just like token support. And what we've seen so far, there's like undead aggro druid, but that doesn't really go with this at all. This is much too slow. And I don't know what else it really goes with at the moment. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in Standard and Wild. If there's the right support, I guess, maybe they have like Goru the Might Tree in the core set, or there's like a treant card coming. I don't know. But the buff might be the more relevant part. It is a lot of stats. Like you hit it on, let's say 3 minions. You're looking at +6, +12 in taunt. Like you probably have to hit like 4 or 5 innings for that to really be worth it in today's game. It's an interesting one. It could see play. I don't see it in the current meta with the current card pool, but maybe more cards will make more sense, but none of the cards we're looking at do. Speaking of which, we have Summer Flower Child. I guess you could draw a Drum Circle with this. It's a 5 mana 4/5. Battle Cry. You draw 2 cards that cost 6 or more. Finale, they cost 1 less. So if you have 5 mana left, you play Flower Child, and then it'll discount the cards that you draw. It could be anything from 6 to 10 mana, or I guess 11, 12, whatever, depending if the cards exist in the game. You get some mana cheat, you draw 2. I just want to put this out there. Ancient of Lore, 7 mana 5/5. Choose one, draw 2 cards or restore some health. Got nerfed to 1 card at one point. 7 mana. And we're at the point where I'm like, is this even playable? That's how crazy the game has evolved to, right? Like, I don't think this card's egregious power creep, but it's definitely power creep again. I think this sees play. You're drawing 2 cards, specific cards, might get some mana cheat on there. Can hit Nourish, can hit, well, no, it can't hit Nourish because that's 5. I had to delete a tweet because I said it was going to be a Guff tutor in Wild because, yeah, Guff 6. Should have been nerfed to that maybe at some point, but yeah, you hit like a high cost card, can be good. I just, again, you know, it's card draw with some mana cheap. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in Standard, probably 2 out of 5 in Wild, probably a bit too slow, but you have like Scales of Onyxia, Raid Boss Onyxia. You have some pretty good cards there. Celestial Alignment possibly. Could see some play Wild, but like the card draw is so crazy in Wild that I don't know if you 5 mana draw 2 is good enough. Again, in today's game, that's how crazy today's game is. And the last Druid card we got is a new weapon, an epic weapon, Tambourine. It is a 4 mana 2/3 weapon, so pretty bad attack and durability. Death Rattle. You summon 1 5/5 Ancient. Play cards that cost 5 or more while equipped to improve. So every card you play that costs 5 or more will improve this. So you play Tambourine on 4. You play Nourish on 5. You attack like each turn. You can have like 3 5/5s. in a couple of turns, right? Like, that's a lot of stats. Even if you just get the 1/5/5 ancient, you're looking at 4 mana, deal 4, summon a 5/5. Not the worst thing in the world. But it's one of these cards that's very specific. You really need to play this on curve, right? Like, you really need to play this pretty early and then, you know, not die while you're playing a 4 mana 2/3 weapon that's not going to kill almost anything. So it's a bit of a struggle. You can't really defend yourself while playing it, but you can get a bunch of stats later on that don't particularly do anything. They don't have taunt, rush, but maybe you play a bunch of cards, you get those 5/5 ancients, and then you buff them up, right? You give them taunt and stats. That could be a thing, but you gotta really draw that correct order. And it is important to note that in wild, twig sphere is like the way to break your twig. I think that stays the same. I don't think you're running tambourine over sphere sapience, and with the new weapon tutor, you don't want to run more weapons. So don't see this seeing much play in wild. I will give it, oh God, it seems so unbelievably so. I'm gonna give it a 2 across the board, standard and wild. I don't see it. It just seems really slow, but it is a lot of stats with just, I think, like 1 improvement. You're getting 10/10 in stats. It really scales fast, right? It scales really fast. So you know what? I'll bump it up to a 3 in standard. I'll be wrong on it, but I'll bump it up to a 3. Anyways, let's take a look at those Paladin cards. And well, we've got the Paladin cards. Annoyo Troop, a 9 mana 3/6 epic mech. So you can play this in pure Paladin. Fun fact, any Paladin card you could play in pure Paladin. It's a crazy fact, right? Anyways, so pretty bad stats, right? You get a 9 mana 3/6 taunt with Divine Shield. That's like Fen Creeper. That's horrible, right? However, Death Rattle, you summon 3 1/2 mechs with taunt and Divine Shield. So 3 Annoyatrons. You get the I guess this is very reminiscent of Void Lord, right? Void Lord, you would get a 3/9 demon that would give 3 1/3 demons. This is a lot more annoying. It's like one of the best like name style of cards. It really is. One more annoying where you get a bunch of Divine Shields, and similar to Warlock, I feel like you really kind of want to cheat this card out. There are ways of cheating this out, as we'll see with other cards. I'm of the firm belief that you can never you never want to underrate taunts that create other taunts, especially multiple. It's a powerful thing. Yes, it loses pretty hard to silence, but you could say that for a lot of cards in the game, and outside of like Smothering Starfish, silence hasn't been really worth running most of the time. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 in standard, not in wild, because this style of deck in wild like never works, but I don't know, maybe it does there. You have like dual in cards like that. I'll give it a 2 in wild, but I just can never sleep on cards that are this annoying. In an arena, holy crap, this is such a good card in arena. Slap this down and your opponent is going to be, unless they got hard removal like a polymorph style card, they are really going to be in for a rough time. Next we have the Lead Dancer, a 6 mana 4/2 minion. Terrible. Summon a minion from your deck with less attack than this minion. You see, this has 3 attack, this has 4. So we got possessed lackey into Void Lord again, but for Paladin. It's literally the old Q block style of thing, right? Is this good? Well, you really got to build around it. Technically, you could buff this. You could give it like a King's or some kind of buff on the board and then cheat something out, but you really want that build around. I'm assuming the build around is literally Lead Dancer, Annoyo Troop, or your Legendary. We'll see in a second. That works really well together. Yeah, I don't know. It's very slow. It doesn't have taunt. It's just a scary card to play. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm actually just straight up giving this a 1. Where it's 6 mana, do nothing, and it loses to so many things. It's scary to me. The taunt, I can see it. This, I think, is just it's just way too fragile a style of card where it just doesn't do anything unless you cheat it out, which we'll talk about. But I'm giving this a 1 in standard and wild. This can be a clippable moment if the scam deck does end up working, but overall, again, it's pretty rough, and it's from your deck, right? So if you've drawn stuff the wrong order, it's even worse. And well, here is the Legendary Kangor Dancing King, a 5 mana 3/3 minion. Terrible. It's got lifesteal, helps a tiny bit. However, you swap this with a minion from your hand and give it lifesteal. So let's say you cheat out the 4/2. it comes out. It's got lifesteal, and it can die and cheat something out. But the thing is, Kangor goes back to your hand, no? It swaps it. You swap it with that minion. Then you can play Kangor again, and then you can swap it with something else, right? The thing is, you're playing a 5-mana 3/3 lifesteal that doesn't do anything. It's really a tricky type of card. I could see this being a horrible garbage archetype that doesn't quite work out because silence or just ignoring it. It just isn't proactive enough. It doesn't have taunt, anything like that. But again, if it does work out, it is such a frustrating card that you're going to have to ETC a silencer, just hard up run silence removal, all of that. For me, it's a little ambitious. It feels like, yeah, you could just ignore it. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in Standard Wild. I'm only really sold on the taunt because the taunt's just good. Even if you don't cheat it out in some situations, it's good. Whereas this card, I don't know. Like, it's so vulnerable, and funny thing is, you can randomly get this on your board in like an evolved effect, something like that, and then screw yourself over cheating out some minion that you don't want to cheat out. It's a really interesting one. I'm gonna give it, it's got more upside, I think, for sure, than League Dancer. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 in Standard Wild, but this is a card that could just be outright crazy and be super frustrating and an incredibly good scam card. So maybe the whole package works really well, but I also really don't like these big mana cheat packages and scams and all of that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll have more cards to review tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Got some news and tidbits. Maybe I'll do a bonus video talking about that, or just put it into another video. We'll see. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, enter that giveaway, and stay salty, my friends.